Hey guys, Kristen Collins. Hope all is well with you. And as always, super excited to connect with you. This week, we're going to be discussing boundaries and how foundational boundary setting is to our health and our vitality. Each week, I'm really lucky I get to host an Instagram Live with Janet Namaste on the Raw Real Talks platform. And Janet selected boundary setting as this week's topic. And I had to just bring that over to this conversation because it is so timely with all of this outpouring that we've been doing for the past year with all the disruption and how we were really giving, trying to help family, trying to help employers, trying to help strangers, and really taking a second to think about boundary setting and how foundational it is for our well-being, I thought was beautifully timed. So thank you, Janet, for instilling this, and I'm excited to bring it to you guys today. So the number one thing that we need to keep in mind as a tip or tool when it comes to boundary setting is to take a pause. When you feel an opportunity or an ask is rubbing up against a boundary, it's really imperative not to be reactionary and to take a second, take a deep breath, and get centered. And why would we do that? Well, first of all, we may feel a natural answer of yes or no bubble up. Okay. And sometimes when I'm in a cadence, I immediately know. I'm like, ooh, no, not a good idea for me. Or sometimes I'm intuitively like, absolutely, I'm 100% in. That's about half the time I'm that centered that I'm able to come up with that answer. But sometimes that pause isn't just getting us in touch with that given moment where we can connect honestly a yes or no, but also it may be vital because in that pause, we are uncertain. Is this a good idea? Do I want to do this? Should I do this? And by taking that pause, instead of being reactionary, and whether that's a yes or a no, it gives us that opportunity to realize we either know our answer at this moment or we need a hot second to back off and regroup. So the second thing, once we've taken that pause, and whether we provided an answer, a yes or a no, or we just simply say, oh my gosh, I hear you, thank you, I need to just think on that, let me get back to you, okay? It's totally appropriate to go ahead and take that pause and ask for space. It's important that you follow up and you get back, right? You don't leave that person hanging, but you absolutely 100% can provide that space where you can absorb and think about it and then get back to them. And when you're getting back to them, if you do decide that you need to set that boundary as a no, you don't have to explain further why it's no. And I think that's really important to understand. I know historically, as I've worked on boundary setting, sometimes it was just a no. I just knew after thinking about it, I couldn't proceed. I didn't want to proceed, what have you. And yet me just being that simple in my response, I felt silly. I was like, that's not enough. Maybe I should come up with some really grandiose reason why I'm saying no. That's not honest, and that's not necessary. So as long as you're communicating back a healthy, loving, kind no, if they pursue wanting to know why you're saying no, that's going to be on them. But you can just simply respond, just at this time, I'm unable to support you in that way. I'm sorry. End. Done. Move on. So that's really vital to boundary setting. The third point I want to bring to your attention when it comes to boundary setting is that you're not doing anyone a favor if you don't set that boundary. So think about a time where you've been with someone who's exasperated because they're doing something outside of their limits. They're doing something they're clearly not into or comfortable with. That's more taxing and negative of a land when someone is put out, totally not in alignment and going against a boundary that they should have set for themselves. So you're not doing anyone a favor if you don't set a healthy boundary. Never mind, you're not doing yourself a favor, you're not doing that other person a favor. The fourth point I want to point out when it comes to boundary setting, as far as a tip or a tool, is that sometimes the lesson is the no. And what I mean by that, if you think about a time where you were asking for help or you were asking for a favor, and weren't getting that support that you thought it was vital, that you couldn't move forward without. That has happened to me a lot in the past year, where I was vulnerable and I reached out for support and I wasn't receiving it. I really had to work through the no's, or the boundaries that were set. And what I found out through that exercise was that the true journey and the true growth came from me getting laser focused on the work and actually doing it myself. By me having the opportunity to sit in the discomfort of that boundary set by someone else. And the lesson didn't take long to come back to me, where I'm like, oh my goodness, the lesson was the no. If that person had said yes, I would be giving away all my power and giving them credit for whatever I just achieved. But I had to regroup and do the hard work by myself. And it's in hindsight that the no was the gift. So sometimes when we're boundary setting and the answer is no, we're actually doing that person the biggest favor we possibly could. And then the final tip or tool for boundary setting is about productivity. When we're laser focused on who we are, what our purpose is, and how we should spend our day, and we set those boundaries to protect that and focus on that, and we still leave enough energy and space and time to self-care, to enjoy, limited capacity right now, to be able to connect, to find fun, to laugh, to sleep, to move. When we're out of sync and off schedule, we are less productive and less likely to even support someone else on their journey if we don't properly boundary set. So as I work every single day when I wake up to protect those boundaries, I find that it then enhances my productivity, because I am crisper and I am clearer and I'm able to move forward in a healthful way. So I hope these 5 tips help you in your boundary setting and understanding that it is vital to our health and well-being to set those boundaries for ourselves and for those who we love. So keep in touch. I love your comments. I love interfacing with you guys during the week. I totally appreciate our shared community. And I really thank you for the opportunity to dive deeper today into boundary setting. I hope you have a great week, and I'll see you next time. Bye.